Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sargeras. Now the next fight on our list is the Fallen Avatar. And this fight is probably one of the favorite ones for me in Sargeras because the mechanics in this fight really show off how good you are at tanking. So let's just get into it and see exactly what we need to do. Phase 1 is here in this room that you see. This is where Phase 1 happens. Phase 2 happens whenever the Fallen Avatar reaches 100 energy, and you want to prolong that as long as possible. So tanks, for Phase 1, our job is simple, to stop Fallen Avatar from gaining energy. Now the way that we do this is by tanking the Maiden in between the Avatar and the beam trying to give him energy. The way that we can see which area is going to have a beam is by actually looking down here into these pyres. They light up before the beam actually takes effect, so you can see which area you're going to need to run to and kite Maiden to, so that she stands in this line right here. The beam comes out of this portion and hits the Fallen Avatar, so make sure Maiden is standing right in between, just like this, and taking that beam herself. Now, whatever tank is on the Fallen Avatar will be getting a debuff called Desolate. When that does hit the tank should be ready with active mitigation up, or else it'll hit for a lot more. And whenever the main tank has 2 stacks of this debuff, a tank swap needs to happen. So I would highly suggest tanking Maiden relatively close to the Fallen Avatar to make swaps easy. Now, whenever the Maiden hits 100 energy as well, everyone needs to swap to her and do DPS to her. So as a tank, I would highly suggest calling out whenever the Maiden is at 90 or slightly above energy, so that everyone can get ready to swap over. Now, depending on your tanks and how on the mark they are and getting the Maiden to the beam, you can fit up to 4 complete energy fills on this Maiden. So again, you do want to delay Phase 2 as long as possible, so you want the Avatar to get as least energy as possible from this beam. So try to be on it and try to get this Maiden to the beam as quickly as possible every single time. The very last thing that you need to know is when the Avatar casts Ruptured Realities, you do want to run out. However, if you are tanking the Maiden, you can only take her about as far as here, which is perfectly fine. You're in the last zone in order to take the least amount of damage from the Ruptured Realities cast. So run out and get Maiden to here, or if you're the active main tank on Avatar, just run out, stay here, and then run back in before any of your melees get there in order to keep tanking Fallen Avatar. Now, DPS and healers during this fight. Whenever Unbound Chaos gets casted out, you will get a debuff where you will drop fell patches on the ground that will explode and do a lot of damage. You drop 3 of these, so as soon as this debuff gets on you, just run around in a big circle or run in a line in a certain direction so you can drop your debuff and avoid stepping in it. When Fallen Avatar is casting Rupture Realities, you need to run out to wherever the laser emanates from. Anywhere on here that you see that's about this distance, you'll be fine. That's the minimum amount of damage that you can take, so you don't need to run completely out of the room to the wall. Just run up to here, let the cast finish, and then run back in. Something else that's very important is the DPS should not be hitting Maiden at all unless she is casting Cleansing Protocol. Now, when she does start casting Cleansing Protocol at 100 energy, everyone needs to switch to her as quickly as possible and do as much damage to her as possible. She has an absorption shield when she's casting this, and as soon as she's done casting and takes the 25% of her HP as damage, you do want to switch over to the Avatar and keep DPSing him down. The very last mechanic that DPS have to deal with are these Shadow Blades. 3 of these blades spawn at the base of Fallen Avatar, and they target 1 DPSer. Now, if you are being targeted by these blades, you do want to move out of the way, whether that's the edges of the room or any space where no one is in between, because this blade will cut through everyone, knocking them back, doing damage, and you want that to have the minimal impact on the raid, so try to move out of the way. Now, this part goes out to everyone. If Fallen Avatar transitions into Phase 2 by getting 100 energy and Maiden is still alive, he will actually consume Maiden and heal himself. So every now and then you do want to swap over to Maiden and force a kill if Fallen Avatar has gotten too much energy. So when you transition into Phase 2, ideally you want to transition with Fallen Avatar having anywhere between 40 to 45% HP. So again, if he's getting too much energy, you do want to just swap over to Maiden, get her down, and force Phase 2 yourself. Now, in Phase 2, there aren't very many mechanics. It's basically just a DPS race at this point, But what you need to do is tank Fallen Avatar on the edges of this platform every single time. So what you'll see here is that not only do I run to the edge and take Fallen Avatar with me, I actually jump into the lava for a little bit to move Fallen Avatar even more so that Fallen Avatar can actually be on the edge of the platform. If you tank like this on every single corner, you'll actually have 5 spaces to stand on and 5 ruptured realities before you run out of space and actually go down in phase 2. So by doing this technique of pushing him all the way to the edge by sometimes jumping into the lava and then back out to get those extra yards, you give yourself more time for phase 2 to be completed successfully. Now DPS, the only mechanic you need to deal with is right after a ruptured reality, some people will get this purple debuff on them. It does a ton of damage and needs to be split with other people. So if you see someone with this purple debuff, run into the ring with them and split that damage with them. Besides that, hopefully you have 5 transition phases by tanking this boss properly, and at this point just burn the boss and try to get the boss down before you run out of platform to stand on. When he does cast Ruptured Realities, that's when you want to run away and go to a new section of the platform, because when that cast ends, that is actually when he breaks the platform, and if you're still standing where he is, you will fall into the lava and take damage. I hope this guide helps. If you have any questions regarding this boss or any other boss for Tomb of Sargeras, the playlist will be linked right at the end of this video, so you guys can go ahead and click there, look at any other boss strategy. Go ahead and leave comments down below with any questions or additional insight you might have. And as always, good luck out there.